Social media and modern education is making our children dumb. All right, how long? Take your bets. Put your bets in. I need to get a couple more mods in here. The fact that I have no mods is silly. I have like 2. Neither of which are here right now. The meaty might be a remnant of a starving head crab. That's what I was thinking. Like, a head crab's that's a good way to put it. Alright, I turn on the closed captioning and 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I mean, the problem isn't just that the college kids are not street smart and don't have real world experience. It is also that there's just been a rapid decline of just the baseline level of knowledge. I mean, what a teacher could walk into and expect kids to already know. Like, okay, we're going to talk about the Federalist Papers. You know, they're written by this guy, Publius. And then, right?
Oh, okay. What, based on what? Like, we're kind of already talking like, this is clearly partway through the podcast already, right? It's just a section of it. So, but under what context are you saying that current college kids don't have real life experience? Like, what real life experience are you suggesting that they're missing out on?
Right now, you can't. People are like, "What? Publius? What?" You know, and then you've got to explain. Well, there were these 3 guys, and they came together, and they decided to write. So what I'm getting at is that college is.
Why is this so trash? Hold on, I'm gonna refresh and see if that fixes this, because this is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the problem isn't just that the college kids are not street smart and don't have real world experience. It is also that there's just been a rapid decline of just the baseline level of knowledge. I mean, what a teacher.
How do you say that when, like, the party that you support is the one that's cutting funds to education and is lowering the passing grade standard and has been for decades, right? It's like they're like, what? Okay, sure.
Could walk into and expect kids to already know. Like, okay, we're going to talk about the Federalist Papers. You know, they're written by this guy, Publius. And then right now you can't. People are like, what? Publius? What? You know, and then you've got to explain. Well, there were these 3 guys, and they came together, and they decided to write. So what I'm getting at is that college has become remedial. College is basically like the 9th grade.
Right. But here's the issue. When
well, that would also depend, like, that specific example would also, like, depend on what what course you're taking, because that information may not be relevant to whatever it is that you're studying. But even assuming, like, the best of the example and say, like, in a course that you would be expected to know this, you don't. And I mean, like, yeah, that's what happens when you cut funding.
When I was a kid growing up,
we really want to talk about how teachers are fucked, like, for pay, as if that doesn't affect the education system. Yeah, these are also the people that don't want to teach American history, right? So, yeah, you seem to be complaining about the problem you're creating, right?
My family opened a coffee shop, so I'm between 9 and 11 years old. I am surrounded by no one but adults. On the weekends when I would work with so I'd be working the register, I'd be making coffee. I'm like 10. Some customers would complain, why is there a 10-year-old making coffee?
Yeah, that's a reasonable complaint. Why is there a 10-year-old making my fucking coffee? That's dangerous, and also my coffee's gonna be bad. This is a reasonable. Why child labor? Excuse me, what? So your parent? Did he just admit to everybody on the internet that his parents extorted him for labor? Like. And, like, their business couldn't afford to hire a part-time employee on the weekends. Okay.
But what do I hear? I hear a 24-year-old guy being like, I can't stand these Republicans. Right now and they're saying stuff. And that's what I'm hearing as a kid. So what's happening is, as a child, I'm learning from adults. I'm learning how to be an adult from adults. What we've started doing with
right. Yeah. That's normal.
Schools is we're having children learn how to be adults from other children. What's happening now, and one of the reasons I think scores are going down, is not just the COVID lockdowns. It's that, why is it that kids don't know about the Federalist Papers? When I was a little kid, my parents would bring me to a movie or to watch a TV show. I'm sitting on the couch with my dad, Star Trek The Next Generation is on. The ideas that are being conveyed to me are adult concepts. Now kids are on social media where all their culture is from other children who don't know anything either.
How do you know that? The internet has everybody on it. The internet is not a place for children. So if kids are watching internet content, it's likely that they're being exposed to very adult ideas and concepts. Just by sheer statistics alone, the majority of content on the internet is not for children. So if you're talking about, like, you think that because you grew up on Sesame Street and Barney, and then people like you bitched about Sesame Street, and then Sesame Street got more PC because of you, that Sesame Street's not as good anymore. What the fuck?
So what's relevant to them is, oh, that dude threw a pie at that other guy. Whereas when I was growing up, it was, I went and saw that movie with Mel Gibson, and he was fighting the American Revolution.
I think the game's
Patriot?
different. I think the game...
You went and saw The Patriot as a child? Okay. I mean, just sure, but, like, it's not like kids' films inherently, like, required to not have adult concepts in them. A lot of children's films do have adult concepts in them, and then people like this bitch about it. Is this Ann Coulter? Man, I don't know. Is this Ann Coulter? Who the fuck is this? It doesn't even say. Who the fuck? Hold on. You had better chase as a child. You probably still do. Yeah, it is. It's Ann Coulter and Dinesh D'Souza. Great. Wonderful. Gross.
Games... I'm not an 11-year-old boy, but all of the games they play, it seems to me there's a lot of attacks on social media, and I'm suspicious of them because every new, like, fun entertainment that's come along has been blamed for whether it's television or Hollywood or, the hula hoop. So I'm a little suspicious of the attacks on social media, and the gaming stuff seems like even better than watching, well, I don't know, Braveheart.
But who's the one making attacks on games? It's the Republicans. It's you. That's you. And what? Am I just lost? Am I in the right place? Am I confused here? Is she saying that she doesn't think the attacks on games are reasonable? Like, video games cause violence is like, what? Oh, Braveheart? No, Braveheart was Braveheart was the Scottish one, lady. That's the freedom. That's Braveheart. Braveheart was not American. The Patriot was American. Then again, I guess Tim Cool theoretically could also be talking about the movie Pocahontas because Mel Gibson was the voice of John Smith in Disney Pocahontas. So I guess he could be talking about that. And that would be something that would make sense to have a kid see it around that time instead of taking your kid to the Patriot.
Because there's the incentive, there are the rewards, there's the coordination, and it's at least of the 11-year-old boys I know, they're not just watching the Kardashians, nothing like that at all. It's the gaming stuff, and I think that's probably better than school.
Oh, in a lot of ways. When I was growing up,
a Call of Duty lobby is not better than school. If you want to learn about teamwork and coordination, sure. And if you want games that are educational, sure, you can make games that are like that have that kind of reward system, and that's not necessarily a bad idea, but it's not going to replace school. Like, that's not how that works. Yeah, she hangs out with a bunch of 11-year-old boys. Good question.
Two games that I played: Colonization, Sid Meier's Colonization, and Civilization. Colonization is it's a game where you choose England, France, the Netherlands, or Spain. You then are dispatched to the New World in 1492 or whatever, and you have little boats and you build colonies. and you fight with Native Americans.
I want
or
to play this now.
It is to
Go
this
ahead.
day. This is like
Play it.
1993 or whatever. To this day, it's still a really, really, really good game.
The Civilization games are fantastic, and I absolutely recommend people play them if they want to play them, but it's not a history lesson. Like, the Civilization games are a lot of fun, but, like, these are also the same games that Republicans blame for violence, so it's very bizarre to see this kind of a flip.
If you choose Spain, you get a bonus attacking Native Americans. It's like very brutal. And then you recruit founding fathers, and so I'm learning about all. I'm 9 years old.
Wow.
I mean, even think about the old Monopoly. I mean, it was sort of an education to play that game. You begin
Yeah.
to learn, the sort of motives of capitalism, and you build a hotel, and you block some other guy who's trying to encroach on your neighborhood. The problem, I think, is not just that the kids don't want to be like their parents. The parents want to be like the kids.
Yep.
Yeah, play Civ. The colonization, I don't know about. Civilization is fantastic.
That's the other side of it. And so these massive consultations that parents have with young kids to, where do you want to go to dinner? What play should we go to see? And so on. And so you've just got a complete inversion of the normal relationship of young people wanting to grow up and learn what.
What do you mean? You're saying that children are less world weary or have less experience, except now you're saying that parents are giving kids the initiative to experience those kinds of decision making. Pick a lane. Which one is it? Because if they're getting that experience earlier because their parents are interacting with them in a way that allows them to make decisions and have consequences, then they are exposed to more decision making, more real world experience than they are if they're not given those opportunities. So, what the fuck? I like how the takeaway from Monopoly is everybody hates playing fucking Monopoly. Like, that's the main takeaway from Monopoly, right? Like, nobody likes playing Monopoly.